Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my new video. This is my Eyes Wide Shut collection, which I'm going to go through with a very great detail. We're going to discover all of the clues and mysteries, Easter eggs that Stanley Kubrick has left behind in this masterpiece of a film. And one of the great mysteries of this film, where a lot of people are asking, was Alice in the mansion party, yes or no? Well, I'm here to answer that question, by the way. I'm going to give you all of the clues. I'm going to give you all of the hidden secrets. And I'm going to show you some proof that she was at the party. And once I show you all of this proof, there's going to be no doubt whatsoever that she was at the party. So let's go through all of the clues, shall we? So this is the first clue here from this scene. So let me play this scene.
Maybe not just now.
So Stanley Kubrick doesn't mess around here. He took 10 years to make this movie, so every word has a double meaning. Every action, every reaction, everything has been planned in meticulous detail by the genius Stanley Kubrick. So what do we know about this film? We know that this film is synced 1 hour from each moment you watch the film. So if you fast forward an hour from a particular scene, that scene would be linked to the first scene where before you fast forward it to an hour. And we know it's an hour because in the bathroom when Ziegler was talking to Dr. Bill says we have to wait 1 hour from now, and then you have to fast forward an hour. So this whole movie is in sync. You know, every time you fast forward it to an hour, one scene will link to another scene. However, there are 20 minutes cut from the movie, from the middle of the movie. So after the first half of the movie, everything gets messed up. So the sync works until a certain point. Then it doesn't work anymore. But this particular scene works because I believe they cut bits and pieces from the mansion party. However, this particular scene links to the mansion party in the beginning of the mansion party before they made any cuts. So this works perfectly. So let me show you. So we have to go 1 hour forward from the moment she says now. So let's see when she says now.
Not just now.
Can you see the way she says now? Basically, Stanley Kubrick's trying to tell us, you know, this is not a normal way to say now. When she says now, that's when you move forward 1 hour. So at this moment, we are 16 minutes, 6 seconds. So if we move forward from 1 hour, 16 and 6 seconds, see where we will end up. So 1 hour, 16, 6. So let me click yes. And we end up here. Can you see, guys? So this proves to us that these two figures are Sandor and his wife Alice. And we know this if you listen to the dialogue when they first talk in the mansion, in the original party. He's talking about taking her upstairs and things like that. You know, he wants to show her the art collection upstairs. And she doesn't say no, she says not right now. That's what she says. So not right now means not right now, but later maybe yes. So you can see she's moved forward. She's wearing the female jester mask, and I'm gonna tell you why she's wearing that later on. And you can see teardrops falling down as well. And I'm gonna also explain to you why. So that's one of the clues that she was at the mansion party. Let's go through a different clue now. So our second clue is basically Alice in front of the mirror, and she's back from the party, by the way, and she's taking off her earrings because she obviously wants to go to bed and stuff like that. So that's what women do. When women come back from a night out, they, take off their jewelry, makeup, and they go to bed. That's what a normal woman does. So that's what she's doing. So that's an important detail, taking off her earrings. I want you guys to remember that. Make sure you remember the earring part, because I'm going to come back to it shortly. But the most important scene in this movie is this particular scene when she's in front of the mirror. And why is it the most important scene in the movie? It's because this movie is centered around Alice. Because Stanley Kubrick has given us plenty of clues in the movie, but also in the original art that was released as well. So this is the original cover art of the movie. And I want you to have a look. Basically, can you see these images on the left of the mirror? These are Nicole Kidman images. I know it's not HD, guys, because trust me on this. I've got the original cover art in front of my hand at the moment, the original DVD, and in the cover art you can see in very much great detail that this is Nicole Kidman. Great detail. But obviously these images I'm getting from the internet, they're not as detailed as what you would see in the DVD version that I've got. So I want to show you that this is the image I'm talking about. So let me zoom out for a bit. So this was the original cover art, if you guys remember. And this was released by Kubrick himself before he died. But they originally used this cover for some of the original DVDs, but then they got rid of it. And I think the studio got rid of it for various reasons. I think they're trying to hide something. So what do you see from this cover art? It shows Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise there, but what's unusual about Nicole Kidman is basically you got the eye, one eye, and also you can see the shape of a triangle with her face. The way Stanley Kubrick has basically took a photo of this picture, it looks like the Illuminati sign, right? You got the triangle and the eye. Look closely, guys. So let me maybe draw it for you. I don't know. Does that look better for you guys? Can you see the Illuminati sign? So that is something Stanley Kubrick was trying to tell us. So now, as I've showed you before, when I zoomed in, so let me try and zoom in again. So all these images that you see on the left, oops, apologies. Go down. So all these images you see on the left is basically a picture of Nicole Kidman. And what's interesting is they cut Tom Cruise out from the image, from each of these reflections. Can you see? But you got to take my word on it. This is Nicole Kidman's, guys, because I have seen the HD full image on my DVD, and it's definitely Nicole Kidman. So what Stanley Kubrick was trying to say, this movie is centered on Nicole Kidman. And it's centered on her because this is her movie and her story. And why are there so many reflections of her in this mirror? Why are there so many reflections? Basically, this means that each of these reflection is a different personality of Alice. And if you research and do a lot of research on some of these SRA victims who are born in the life of of trafficking, basically, and they go through their life, they go through a lot of trauma. So as a way of dealing with their trauma, they become different personalities, and a lot of them have various different personalities because of their trauma of growing up and having all these experiences. You're welcome to read it up, guys. I have done a lot of research on it. So each of these reflections reflect a personality of Alice, basically, and she's basically had to have a different personality from all of the trauma that she's received as a young girl. So obviously she's part of the cult. She's been groomed from a young age, and now she's been obviously there's an arranged marriage with her and Dr. Bill, and what the cult wants to do now is get Dr. Bill into the cult. So she's basically like Dr. Bill's handler. And in real life, there are things like this happen. I mean, for example, you got Jared Kushner and Trump's daughter, for example. You got Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk. You got Cash from FBI and his girlfriend, his handler. Even Donald Trump and his handler, Melanie Trump. There's women handlers everywhere, especially with men with power. And that's what they do. Cult basically get these women, they get involved with these men with power, and they use these women as their handlers to basically do basically get the men to do whatever they want. And this is a kind of power, kind of control. And this is what they do. This is what they do in real life. And so this is why Alice is 100% was at the party, because she's involved. She's involved in all of this. So let's play this game again of moving forward 1 hour from here. So as you can see, she's naked. She's taken her earrings off and she's in front of the mirror. So let's go forward 1 hour, because Stanley Kubrick likes to link each scene with a previous scene an hour previously. So we're going to fast forward this scene to an hour. So we know at this point everything was in sync. It starts to get messed up after the mansion party. After that, it doesn't get synced anymore. So that tells us that good 20 minutes was probably cut and later on in the film, and that's why things later on don't really sync up as much. But this part definitely syncs, and you can see we are here at 1951 or 1955. So if you go 1 hour 1955, where do we end up? We end up here. And what's interesting about this particular scene, it links up to Nicole Kidman being naked. And if we fast forward here, we see a lot of naked women basically doing it with other people. I have to be careful with my words on YouTube, guys. And as you know, they have AI checking what words you use and stuff like that. So we know that at this particular party, Nicole was naked and she was probably doing stuff with others. So that's a link between that scene and this scene. So let's go to the next clue. So our next clue is at the night of the party, and a lot of people are saying that, oh, she can't be at two places at once. She called Dr. Bill to make sure he's coming home and stuff like that. Well, you got to understand, guys. I mean, look at her. Look at her. She looks absolutely amazing. Her hair is done, her makeup is done, her nails are done. She's ready to go out, guys. She is absolutely ready to go out. And she is part of the cult, so she's not working alone. So I believe that Dr. Bill, was kept out, that night. He would have been kept out for one reason or another. And they all work for the cult. And maybe, I'm just thinking that maybe, like, the cult is basically following Dr. Bill, and they're making sure he stays out, he doesn't come back home. And it all started from Marion's flat. And unusually, Marion basically made a move at him. Don't you think it was a bit unusual, basically? Out of nowhere, she basically made a move at Dr. Bill. We have to assume Marion is part of the cult because we know her father's part of the cult because her father had some masks in the room. And he's a man of power, money. So he would have known a lot of people. Plus, we know that Dr. Bill does a lot of house calls. And from what it looks like, he looks like Dr. Bill does a lot of house calls for important people like Ziegler, people like Marion's father, etc. So she could have been part of the cult. They probably asked Marion to make a move on Dr. Bill. And things messed up when Carl entered the room. Obviously, Carl came back early. And that really got messed up. So Dr. Bill carried on walking that night, and the second plan was to get Domino to sleep with him, to keep him up all night. That plan also failed as well, and then he went to obviously see his friend Nick Nightingale. And at this moment, I think the cult or somebody made a decision to get Bill into the party. And we know this because somebody called Nick Nightingale in front of us, and I believe they were giving him instructions on what to do. They gave him the password. So Dr. Bill's night's journey, it wasn't an accident, basically. It was all planned. It was all planned for him to eventually turn up at the mansion party, and then he had the ritual. And we know he had the ritual because he was inside the circle. I mean, look at Marion, guys. She's looking all fine. She's ready to go. All she needs to do is put a dress on. And we know that she can pull off a dress very quickly. We know that from the first scene when she took down that black dress, and she became naked. Very fast, she can wear that black dress again. She can come in and out of that dress within seconds. So after calling Dr. Bill, she would have probably put that black dress on, and there would have been people waiting outside, and she would have gone to the party. Also, a lot of people have asked, what about their daughter? Who would look after their daughter last minute? Well, we know that Alice knows the babysitter in the beginning of the film. Alice basically knows her. She sorts that out. We know she knows her because Dr. Bill leaves it in her hands, and he doesn't even know the babysitter's name, but Alice does, and Alice is in charge of all of that. And we know that the babysitter would have been part of the cult as well. These people, they're all connected, guys, all of them. So she would have come, and she would have looked after Helena for that night, and I believe she's sort of like her handler as well. She's probably helping Alice groom her as well. So yeah, she definitely was at the party, and that also gives us another clue. But now I'm going to come to the final clue, which completely gives it away, guys. Completely gives it away. And after you see this, you will 100% know that she was at the party. 100%. So this is the final clue, and also the biggest proof that she was at the party. There's no doubt whatsoever in my mind. There shouldn't be any doubt in your mind either, guys. So what do you see here? You see Nicole Kidman. She's obviously distraught. She looks very, very upset. So what do we notice? We notice two things: her earrings and her lipstick. So remember when I said to you that to keep a close eye on the earrings earlier on the video? I said keep an eye on her taking off the earrings. So we know that she takes off her earrings every time she comes home from a party, because we know she did that. And this is what every woman does. I mean, every woman, I'm sure a lot of you have wives, or if you're a female listener, you know what I'm talking about. When you come home from a party, you do not sleep with your earrings on. This is not something women do. You basically go to the bathroom, get fresh, you take your makeup off, And look at Alice. She obviously has the makeup still on. Her lipstick is still on. Her earrings are still on. So this tells us that she was out. She wasn't at home all night. She was out. And she probably came home just before Dr. Bill came home. And we know this because the party, Dr. Bill was obviously had the initiation ceremony in the circle. And when Red Cloak said, "You can go now, you are free." So how does he get home? Because we know that taxi driver would have been they probably would have got rid of him. I'm not saying they would have killed him. They would have just said, go get lost or something. Because these events are shrouded in mystery and a secret. So they would have had their own way for Dr. Bill to get home. So they would have arranged their own transport for Dr. Bill to get home. So for them to do that, they would have made sure Alice got home first before Dr. Bill. So that's why she ended up coming home before him. And you can see she just came home from the party because nobody would be sleeping with their earrings on and lipstick on. She was obviously out somewhere. So that's our final clue, guys. I mean, I don't. If you're still not convinced, I don't know what I can tell you. Seriously, just open your eyes. She was definitely at the party. She's definitely involved. I mean, look at all the clues and all the proof that Stanley Kubrick has been giving us. It's definitely her, and she was definitely at the party. And if this doesn't convince you guys, nothing will. Anyway, I'll leave it to you guys to ponder. If you need to watch the video again, you're welcome to. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share. I'm the only guy on YouTube telling you the truth about Eyes Wide Shut. I talk about subjects nobody even has the balls to talk about. Nobody even dares to talk about the subjects that I do. So make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Take care.